There's a bit of contention at the moment. Some economists point towards a common indicators that a recession is on the horizon. Let's dig into the numbers and see how it compares to the previous months. Hey, and welcome back. My name is Preston, and I'm a professional recruiter in the technology industry. It's the beginning of August, so you know what that means. It's time to review another monthly job report from the United States Bureau of Labor Statistics. If you've been following my videos for a little while, you may remember the past few times we've covered these releases from the BLS. If this is your first time video, don't worry. I'll cover all the important information in just a moment. But still, as always, I encourage you to go back and watch my videos on the previous job reports for some deeper context on what the heck is happening. Please consider like, subscribe, click that bell. It really means a lot. In my past couple of videos, I talked a little bit about why there's no better time than the present to consider becoming a recruiter. Improvements in technology spurred the creation of brand new positions, as well as countless new ways of locating and connecting with potential candidates. The need for recruiters with specialized knowledge of these systems has grown. Additionally, as the effects of the pandemic lessen, more and more organizations are turning to recruiters to help fill positions that had to be vacated in order to stay afloat during those troubled times. Needless to say, recruiters are becoming more and more important, especially during times in which the future of the economy is uncertain. With that in mind, it's important for recruiters to stay up to date with the labor market and the US economy as a whole. That way, they can adjust their strategies to remain effective during periods of economic downturn where hiring may slow down or stop entirely in any number of industries. That's why today we're going to cover the report released by the United States Department of Labor Bureau of Labor Statistics. It will give us an indication of the health of the job market and the greater US economy, so we know where to focus our recruiting efforts. BLS Monthly Job Report. Just prior to the pandemic, the US job market was in a great spot, the best it had been for years. At the beginning of the pandemic outbreak, when lockdowns forced many organizations to curtail or slow down their operations or shut down entirely, it quickly crashed and we lost around 22 million jobs. The BLS Monthly Jobs Report, which contains important information about the workforce and job market, allows experts and analysts to take a deeper look into the economy as a whole and even allows them to make educated predictions about what the future holds. So if you've been keeping up with my videos, you'll know that there's a bit of contention at the moment. Some economists point towards a common indicators that a recession is on the horizon. Others remain more optimistic as the labor market continues to add jobs and the unemployment rate remains low. The July job report will give us some further insights into the future of the economy. So without further ado, let's dig into the numbers and see how it compares to the previous months. Establishment data. The Bureau of Labor Statistics splits its monthly job reports into two broad segments and reports on data collected directly from employers or establishment data, as well as from employees or household data. According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, establishment data is more accurate due to a larger sample size, although there are less data points to work with. The most important metric within the establishment data is payroll employment. Payroll employment. The payment employment metric is so important because it is a flat number, the total number of payrolls added that month. This figure is further broken down by industries, which allows us to see which are thriving and which have curtailed their hiring operations. In July, a whopping 528,000 jobs were added, blowing away economists' expectations and previous month's total. With that, we've officially regained all the 22 million jobs that were lost at the beginning of the pandemic. It's the middle of the summer here in the US, and people are eager to get out and travel after being stuck inside for 2 years. So it should come as no surprise that we continue to see the highest growth in the leisure and hospitality industry, which added 96,000 jobs. 74,000 of those were actually in food services and drinking places. These industries have still not returned to complete pre-pandemic strength, however, and the job count remains 7.1% lower than its February 2020 level. Next up, we have the professional and business services, which grew by a total of 89,000 payrolls. This is split up further into management, which added 13,000 jobs, architectural and engineering services, which also added 13,000 jobs, technical consulting services, which added 12,000 payrolls, and finally scientific research and development services, which is 10,000 jobs stronger. The healthcare industry continues to add payrolls with a total of 70,000 in July. At the top was ambulatory healthcare, which added 47,000 jobs. Hospitals are up next, an industry which is 13,000 payrolls stronger. Rounding out the back, we have nursing and residential care facilities, which added 9,000 jobs. While employment in public government rose by 57,000 jobs, this is one sector that continues to struggle to reach its pre-pandemic state, with a deficit of 550,000 jobs. Unfortunately, many of these roles cannot compete with the pay and benefits offered by companies in the private sector. Construction may be a surprising industry to find on the list because costs are high and less people are building homes. Still, the industry added 32,000 payrolls in July. Manufacturing, an industry that has struggled to compete with jobs offering remote or flexible work hours, surprisingly grew past its February 2020 levels and added 30,000 payrolls this month. Rounding out the back of the pack includes the social assistance industry, which added 27,000 jobs, the retail industry, which added 22,000 jobs, transportation and warehousing, which added 21,000 jobs, information, which added 13,000 jobs, financial activities, which also added 13,000 jobs. Finally, the mining industry is at the end of the pack with 7,000 jobs added in July. So how exactly is this information relevant to us? Well, as a recruiter, you can see which industries are currently leading the hiring process and focus your work there in order to find business and stay profitable. I'll also cover a little bit about how these numbers affect the greater economy in just a moment. But for now, let's briefly look at some supplemental establishment data. Average hourly earnings. While these last two data points don't provide insight into any specific industry, it's still good to review them. The first is the average hourly earnings for an employee in the US, which rose by 15 cents to $32.27. This continues this year's upward trend of 5.2%. Average work week. The last establishment data point we'll discuss today is the average work week for employees in the US. Again, this is not broken down by industry, so its use is limited. This month, the average work week totaled 34.6 hours, unchanged for the 5th month in a row. Household data. Compared to establishment data, household data gathered from employees themselves tend to be less accurate, but also contains more data points overall. Here are the 3 most relevant to us. Unemployment rate. Like payroll employment, the unemployment rate is most often cited by news outlets. It measures the percentages of the labor force that is currently unemployed. This month, it went down a single point for the first time in months, down to the pre-pandemic levels of 3.5%. Labor force participation rate. The labor force participation rate measures the population of individuals who are active in the labor force. This means they are currently employed but actively looking for a job. A lower unemployment rate combined with a higher labor force participation rate indicates a strong potential market for recruiters. This month, the labor force participation rate decreased only slightly from last month from 62.2 to 62.1%. Number of individuals not in the labor force who want a job. This statistic measures individuals not counted in the unemployment rate due to not having actively searched for work in the previous 4 weeks. This gives us a decent indication of the number of passive job seekers who remained unemployed for a variety of reasons. These potential candidates are hard to reach, but especially valuable for recruiters. This figure increased in July from 5.7 to 5.9 million. Current events. Economic analysts only predicted around 250 jobs to be added in July. This figure ultimately doubled. What does this mean for us in the United States as a whole? Well, it's great news for recruiters who will continue to fare well in the coming months. But that said, the red-hot job market does little to help the rapidly expanding inflation, which combined with softening economic activity and 2 quarters of lowering GDP has done little to calm fears of an impending recession. Economists now say that this strange, uncommon combination of positive and negative effects may result in economic downturn, but it will likely not be as severe as previous recessions, just as the one in 2008. But honestly, only time will tell. Despite the tech industry continuing to lay off employees, Robinhood being the most recent to do so, other industries continue to hire. Additionally, the Federal Reserve continues to increase its interest rates in an effort to combat inflation. We may be in a rough spot now, but certain areas of the economy and job market remain strong, meaning recruiting continues to be a lucrative opportunity to consider halfway through 2022. This just about ends this video on the state of the job economy, but given its current state, I'm sure there'll be much more to be said in the coming months. Do you have anything else to add, a different perspective? I'd love to hear from you. If you like this video, want to see more like it, or you just want to give a fellow recruiter a thumbs up, please consider liking, subscribing, click that bell. It really means a lot. Please feel free to also follow me at Preston_Park as I try my best to also post daily. Thanks again, and we'll see you on the next one.